Hi folks, my name is Max. I'm the guy behind all that stuff from Damon Days, you might maybe know or probably might not know. And today I'm gonna tell you the story of my first album, how it was produced, how it was written, how the recording sessions were, and most of all, what was the story behind the album. Why did I do it? Why did I write the songs, and why did I do it this way? And yeah, why do I record this video now in this state you see me? Yeah, you might already have noticed that my look is quite a catastrophe. Look at that hair. And I haven't got that much space here, so it may appear like the cliche of an artist, crazy artist, completely out of mind in his studio, drinking alcohol, taking drugs all the time, and completely freaking out. And maybe this is true, but this has reasons. One reason, like I told you, why I'm recording this video right now in this way and in this state is that I'm stuck in quarantine one more time. And this is one reason for this state and this weird look and this shitty hair. I have to get it cut down when I'm out of here. I'm not caring that much about my look, about my hair, usually in my normal life also, but as you see, I've completely lost the control over this. And yeah, when we're going to do the artwork finally for the album and to shoot some photos, I'll have to get this fixed finally. But let's not talk that much about look. Let's talk about the content. Well, usually if a band or an artist or whatever releases an album, they would maybe do a Q&A or something like that on YouTube with the comments and so on. But in my case, to be honest, there's at that point of time no one that I don't know personally that asks me questions about my music or about my current album. So I'm just gonna answer questions no one ever asked, and you'll be part of this. Yeah. Just having a short look at my notes. So yeah, I'm gonna start with how the idea for the album came up. It was in spring or summer, something between this, and it was a sunny day, and I was walking around outside and doing kind of a tour, meeting up with people, and when I got home, I was quite exhausted, but that positive kind of being exhausted and not feeling bad, but feeling healthy, feeling productive, feeling inside my body. So after taking a shower and these normal things, eating something, drinking some coffee, I did what I always do. I sat down at my little piano and did an improvisation, as I do. I've started improvising and writing songs for 4 or 3 months after having started learning the piano as a child. And on this day, I decided to change something. I was inspired in a special way, and I decided to open the piano and to put away these covers. And I found a recorder in my house and decided to put it in. A little crappy camcorder. Actually, same with what I'm recording this video right now. And I put this recorder inside the piano and took headphones and listened to what I played live. And it just blew my mind because the sound of the piano was so direct, but there was also room, and it just felt great. And I listened to the recordings afterwards, and it still sounded great and felt great. So I thought there could be something. And after 1 minute, I thought, yeah, why shouldn't I, when I could, why shouldn't I make an album or something like that and do serious recordings? So the idea was fixed, and I couldn't get the idea out of my mind anymore from that moment on. And then the process started, and the whole crazy things, and the first phase, the first days, the first weeks after this were pretty hard for me, because I was so excited and so mind blown and full of ideas, and so happy about this opportunity. I just discovered that I actually really stopped sleeping. It was always 2 nights or so where I didn't sleep 1 hour. I went to bed and was lying there and listening to music and writing down ideas, how I could do this, how I could do that, what I have to avoid. And it was quite a positive state, actually, but it was also weird because I hadn't had this situation before, not sleeping. And then in the morning hours I went up and checked out the mastering stuff and where I could publish the album and all this organizatory boring things. And then I slept maybe for 1 or 2 hours, and then I continued with this weird lifestyle. This phase was over then, and then there started a very creative, very experimental phase where I actually started to put more into the improvisation I did. I wrote some pieces and discovered the opportunities I had, and especially the opportunities I didn't have on the piano. And I made some recordings outside, some field recordings, some waterfall and things like that, and played on my stereo boxes. I played the waterfall and put it on very loud and played piano to this and recorded this thing, waterfall and piano, and made some interesting discoveries. Maybe more about that later on. So this was the phase of getting really down to work and getting creative and really finding true inspiration. The next step was to listen to all what I've recorded and to actually discover that the recordings were crap. Not from the audio quality, but from what I've played. I discovered that I completely wasn't in time sometimes. When I was improvising, I was completely into the feeling, which was great, and it were very emotional recordings, but they were completely off time. There were wrong notes I couldn't remove at the computer, at the program, without disturbing the whole song. So I saw that there were still a lot of things to learn, and I sat down and really practiced and really started writing songs for the album and structures, and I learned how to play and to record without making this terrible faults, and recorded for hours and hours and so on. Then later I changed the way of producing. First of all, I got my piano tuned. For those of you who don't play the piano or who are not so much into the topic and might not know, usually a piano is tuned on 440 hertz. And I decided to have my piano tuned on 436 hertz because I had never heard or seen a piano tuned in this frequency, and just wanted to know what it would sound like and to make it completely special. So the first time it was a strange orange yellow sound, but I fell in love with that, and as always, a new sound at an instrument, a new way of tuning or so, is always a great inspiration for me, and so was at that time. And yeah, and then I later on I discovered that I couldn't record all of the pieces I've written and I've imagined and dreamed of, that I couldn't play them all on my piano because it was limited. And of course, sometimes limitations are great in a creative process and show you new opportunities, new chances, new paths to go. But if you have this idea and it just doesn't work at your instrument, then it's pretty hard, and then you just have to find another one. So I got a wing, or I didn't get a wing, but I asked for one at the music school, and that stuff, being friendly and flirting with the secretaries and sometimes calling them, and being the nice guy and so on. So I got this wing and got the opportunity to record there, and I at that point of time I focused more and got more into the recording process. I bought some new microphones and thought about techniques, how I wanted to record these pieces. I did some experiments also with my co-producer Martin, who gave me some inspiration, some input. I've written all the pieces by myself, but as co-producer he just gave some new input, some new ideas, mostly about how the microphone position changed the whole piece, the whole music and the whole sound, which was very interesting and which was very helpful for me. And I did that, and in this room where this wing was standing, I also discovered what a great impact on my work as a piano player, as a musician, as a composer, the room and the space has, and the curtains have. Actually, there were these old windows, and it was a beautiful room, very much space, a very spacey sound, and lots of opportunities to experiment. But you really had to be careful about what the curtains would cause in your whole sound. And this had a great influence. Different microphone positions, different curtain positions, the door closed, the door open, some absorbers, and all these things in the producing process I discovered then, and they had a huge impact on my work. And I recorded for 2 or 3 days at this wing. I had lots of hours of recording, together with what I had recorded at home before. And with these 30 or 40 hours of material, at some day I decided that this had to stop and that I had to get the album finished. It was very joyful, and I was completely into the music, and I could imagine to just record for my whole life for this album, because it felt so great, and there was such a great flow. Also, when I was just writing at home on my electric piano for the recording sessions, selecting some pieces. But if you take making music seriously, you sometimes have to say, okay, this is what I've done. This stops here, and then the next step starts. And the next step is actually the state I'm in at the moment. I'm cutting like I did already in summer and in spring, but I'm more intensely cutting it all together and mixing and mastering and choosing and selecting and giving the music titles and choosing what songs come first, and thinking about some gags, actually some weird or new intros you may have never heard on an album before, and what happens between the songs, how much silence do I want, and also how much faults do I allow myself, at what point of time does it disturb the whole piece, the whole music, the whole album, and at what point of time perfection disturbs it also, because being completely perfect and completely clean at the sound and at what is played would also be quite bad and quite horrible for the whole project. So this is what I'm doing right now, and balancing and trying things out to get the album finally finished. And that's what I'm doing right now. And if everything works like I dream of and like I imagine in my mind, the album will be released in January, at the beginning of January, maybe the 1st or 2nd of January, or later, some weeks later, in January. Take notes, January. And the album will be called Story. We're just doing the artwork right now, some cover photos, some footage. And I'm very excited. I'm very looking forward to present you my work. But somehow, as I've already written on my Instagram channel and on Facebook and on Twitter, where you can also follow me to stay up to date if you want to, that would really help me. And also if you share my music and my stuff and videos like this one, if you like to. As I've already written on these channels, I somehow don't want to end this process, and because this year was quite strange, especially for artists, and this year there should have been lots of concerts with my own music for the first time in my life to play. And when this whole thing was starting and growing and coming up, it was immediately cut down, lockdown and so on. And of course this has its sense, but in this strange year full of strange situations with people and at home, and lots of people suffering, lots of people dying, also people I know, this album was it saved me actually, and it was a very pleasurable and joyful way to get through this strange year, to get through these emotions and this time that we all had. And I don't want to end it because it was so much fun. So maybe after the album is released, I won't really take a break or so. Playing a tour with the album is no opportunity, of course, at the moment, as far as I know. So maybe just gonna start the next album, the work on the new material right away, which won't maybe be an instrumental one like this, like Story, but maybe I'm gonna do a speed metal album, something electronic, maybe just some reduced, improvised pop songs, some songwriting stuff with the guitar. Who knows? I don't know at the moment, but I'm very looking forward to what may come, and I'm also looking forward to how the album will appear at the end. And I hope you're also looking forward to it. Well, thank you for watching this video, watching me talking weird shit about music. And thank you for following me, for liking my stuff, for sharing it mostly. Think we see in January. Follow me to stay up to date and to get the date if it's finally sure when the album will be released. You will be able to stream it on all platforms you can imagine: Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, Bandcamp, probably. And it will also be in the shops. It will appear on Amazon, Google, Apple Music, iTunes, all these things. And I already thank you right now for having a look at it. So yeah, I'm losing the control about what I'm talking about. So I think this is the point where I should definitely stop the video. Thank you for watching, and yeah, we'll meet again.